So yeah, Diego's back, and he even yoinked body and is instantly back on his bullshit. So the story this time follows my goat, Joseph, and his grandson Jotaro as they travel to Egypt to put Diego back into the ground permanently. So Joseph finds Jotaro in prison, where he freaking belongs, that hoodlum. The reason why is because Jotaro's stand has been awakened. A stand is basically a phantom that manifests random abilities that make no damn sense. And Jotaro put himself into prison to not hurt people, I guess. But Joseph yeets him out of there forcefully and drags Jotaro along to go murderize Diego. Along the way, they also acquire teammates, mostly by beating the crap out of them. We have whose whole purpose is to die, and he also has a fire chicken stand. Kakyoin, the MILF hunter, who has Hierophant Green, who shoots green rocks that never misses. Iggy, an asshole dog, and uses sand. Purnarefu, the real main character, he uses a knight that fights with a rapier. My goat, Joseph, who got nerfed to infinity because Araki needed to glaze Jotaro, and he still uses sun magic and also has a thorn stand. Hermita Purpuru, turning him into Spider-Man. And finally we have Jotaro, who uses Star Platinum. And let me preface this now, I hate Jotaro. I cannot stand this boring, one-note, mother-hating, women-amusing bastard. I don't care how big you are, my mama would have beat my ass if I said some shit like that. Watching him is like watching paint dry on a brick wall, because that's how boring he is. Honestly, they should have just renamed this part to Polnareff's Bizarre Adventure, because honestly, he's the main character, and he cannot go 2 seconds without some weird shit happening to him. I don't think this man was able to take a dump for the entire adventure, because if he's within 2 blocks of a bathroom, an enemy was spawning from out of nowhere just to run hands. Anyway, sorry about the rant, let's get back to the story. Basically, Jotaro's mom is dying, and the only way to cure her is to go to Egypt and murderize a zesty-ass vampire. And that kind of reminds me, in the past, JoJo's was kind of zesty. But from this point forward, it is just full-blown gay. Anyway, the group travel from Japan all the way to Egypt, and along the way, they encounter many enemies under Diego's employ, such as the sun, a sword, a freaky-ass monkey, and an ugly-ass, evil-ass baby. Oh, and Diego also has a pet hawk that has mad beef with dogs for some reason. Regardless, the boys manage to reach Diego, and then half of them immediately die because Diego has the power of... After chasing Joseph all over Cairo, Diego mortalizes him in front of Jotaro, activating Jotaro's Sharingan, giving him the power of Star Platinum Zawardo. And after a very prolonged fight, Diego yeets a road roller at Jotaro, causing Jotaro to hit Diego in the leg, making him explode. Why? And remember when I said that Joseph died? Well, he survived. I love this man so much. And that is pretty much how the part ends, and even though I'm a Jotaro hater, I actually really enjoyed part 3, the Indiana Jones vibes, the camaraderie between the boys and the bizarre villains, and of course my GOAT, Joseph, make this part, pretty great. But for real, Jotaro can kiss my ass. Okay, so going forward, the Joestar family tree is going to get increasingly convoluted because the protagonist of part 4 is Josuke Higashikara, the son of Joseph, the GOAT, when he went to Japan and... Joseph, why did you do this? Regardless, Joseph found out about his secret love child and sent Jotaro, why are you back? Anyway, Jotaro finds Josuke and tells him the story of his conception and that he is going to be rich because inheritance. But Josuke's like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with that deadbeat. But then Jotaro installs Josuke's dumbass looking hair, and Josuke's like, apparently he has a stand called Crazy Diamundo, which can heal people through the power of... which he was born with because, I don't know, man, stands make no damn sense. Anyway, Jotaro beats the crap out of him because he's OP as hell. Now, if you're wondering what the plot is to this part, well, for the first half, there is no plot. It's basically Josuke and his friends screwing around, not doing anything, but each of them have stands, so it's time for some wacky misadventures. We have Okuyasu with his overpowered as hell stand called The Hand, which has the power to erase literally anything, but Okuyasu has the IQ of 68, so he's absolutely worthless. Then we have Koichi, whose stand Echoes has like 4 different powers, because it keeps evolving, which is a thing stands can do now, I guess. Because at first, he can manifest Onomatopoeia, and then he can use gravity, so I'm not really sure what the theme is here. Then we have this freaky ass girl who's in love with Koichi, even though he's like 3'2", and has the power of hair. And if I could summarize their entire relationship in one sentence, it would be. And finally, we have Rohan, who has the power of anime on his side and is also weirdly obsessed with. And finally, we have Rohan, who has the power of anime on his side and is also weirdly obsessed with Koichi. You freak. Now we have a whole bunch of other useless characters like this chef who keeps showing up for no reason even though he can't fight for shit, and a whole bunch of others. And if I'm being completely honest, when I first watched part 4, I did not like it because it felt super dragged out and fillery because there's no central story. It was just a bunch of slice of life anime for a little bit. But I did get a kick from seeing Jotaro get his ass beat by a rat, so at least there was something in it for me. However, this all changed with the introduction of Yoshikage Kira, the resident hand enthusiast and serial killer, and the second half of part 4 turns into a mystery show trying to catch Kira, and this is way more my speed. Now, Kira uses 4 different stands, but his main one is Kira Queen, which turns anything it touches into a bomb, and that is how he is able to be a serial killer for like 20 years, because he just explodes the evidence. He gets found out when he accidentally, on purpose, blows up Josuke's friend. And that's what you get, you frugal bitch. Anyway, Kira gets wrecked by Koichi and Jotaro, who, let me remind you, lost to a rat like a bum. Bro, you can stop time. How do you lose in any situation ever? Anyway, Kira somehow escapes on 1 HP and changes his entire face and infiltrates the home of the dude whose face he stole, instead of doing something logical like going literally anywhere else. At this point, Kira's dad, who is a ghost trapped in a photo, don't ask any questions, uses a magic alien arrow to make a bunch of more stand users to try and murderalize the group. We've got Rock, Paper, Scissors Kid, a piece of paper, a radio tower, and an electric fly. During this time, Kira, being a freaky deaky, and got caught by his fake son, so he accidentally on purpose murders him. Now, that would be a problem, but he absorbs the magic arrow and evolves his stand. Now, Kira's stand, Kira Queen, Bite the Dusto, gives a Groundhog Day effect to anyone he puts it on, rewinding an hour back anytime he uses it, because as you'll quickly learn, Araki loves messing with time. So Kira revives his son and plans on using him to kill Josuke, but through the power of phone calls, it gets negated, and Kira fights Josuke one-on-one. Kira, being on 1 HP, tries to get freaky with a nurse, telling her how he gets a stiffy looking at Mona Lisa's hands. And that is not a joke, by the way. This actually happens because he's a freak. Anyway, he dies because he gets his head crushed by an ambulance. And then gets dragged to hell like he freaking deserves. Overall, I enjoyed part 4, especially the latter half with Kira as an antagonist, as he's the best villain in all of JoJo's. The part was just kind of dragged down with a slice of life parts and a whole bunch of useless characters and lackluster villains. And I didn't talk about this, but I swear Araki hates the Stardust Crusaders from part 3, because just look at how they massacred my boy Joseph. He's so sad. And that's not the last time he's gonna pull this crap. Anyway, even with all my grievances, I wholeheartedly endorse this part because the memes are absolutely phenomenal.